Okay, we're good. All right. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I know this is a little different, a video from me. We're not quite live, but wait, we will be. I just wanted to invite you all in because let's face it, the summer's been a lot. Uh, our jobs are a lot, our lives are a lot, and I think we all need a break. So I wanted to introduce you to a friend of mine. Her name is Jessica, and she has created the Hike 31 Challenge to give all of us a little bit of a break and a reset. We all are facing some sort of burnout from something, insert here, but burnout is a real thing. So let me introduce you to my friend, Jessica D'Angelo. Jessica, tell us a little bit about who you are and what we are doing in the next 31 days.
Thank you for that introduction, Audra. And I am just super stoked to be embarking on this journey with you during the month of October. I'll try not to give away too much so that people listen to our podcast episode. So, I am the chief hiking officer of my brand, which is called Hike to Become, and I'm the creator of the Hike 31 Challenge. And like you mentioned, I think that everybody is probably either experienced or is currently experiencing some form of what I like to call being in autopilot mode, or experiencing like Bill Murray's Groundhog's Day over and over and over again. And the one thing that I can share from my own experience, both working in corporate America as well as being an entrepreneur, burnout doesn't care what you do for a living. It can affect all of us, and it especially affects those of us that care deeply about the work that we do. So I think you and I are coming up with a really wonderful plan to help everybody take a deep breath and reconnect with themselves during the month of October. And I am just so excited.
Yes, because as I mentioned before, it's a lot. It's our lives are a lot. Our environment is a lot. We don't get to turn a lot of things off. So we thought that this would be a great way to get everybody invited and excited to reconnect with themselves. October conveniently has 31 days in it, and the weather should be nice pretty much everywhere. And we invite everybody to get back outside. So October 1st is the beginning of this challenge. To get more information about this challenge, we invite you to listen to our podcast episode. It is launching this Friday, September 27th. It's dropping first thing in the morning, so you get more information as to what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what benefits that you will experience by doing this challenge. Now, Jessica, is it hard?
Is the challenge hard?
Is the challenge hard?
Yeah, it's a challenge. However, here's what I would argue, it's a challenge for a reason. And I've done it actually many times throughout this year. So here's what I will tell you that I know. It is a challenge, but not in the way you think. So first off, Audra, do you know the true like definition of a hike?
Now, tell me, what's the definition of a hike?
Most people think it's like scaling Mount Everest or doing some sort of serious elevation climb or being gone half the day. And the actual definition of a hike is a walk in the wilderness. So the whole idea behind what we will be doing is that it's a challenge, but not in the way you think. The challenge is the commitment to show up every day to do it and practice it in the way that we discuss on the podcast. I don't think that the challenge is what most people anticipate, which is find the hardest hike closest to your home and be doing that every day. That is not what we're talking about, to be clear. So, is it a challenge? Yes. It's probably going to challenge everyone, ourselves included, as we've discussed in our conversations, mentally more than anything else.
So don't worry about going find the biggest, tallest, hardest mountain. Don't worry about that. So that's number one. Number two, for those of you that are already thinking, but I don't live near any mountains or any wilderness whatsoever. What are we going to do about that? For those that are already thinking that.
So almost everyone should have some form of access to nature. It just might not be a jungle or a rainforest, or as Audra mentioned the mountains. I live in Boise, so I'm close to the Boise foothills. However, if you can find yourself with more nature elements, and that could even be a park or a tree-lined street or some ocean waves, you found your spot.
So find some blue sky, or at least open sky, something. So number 2. Number 3. Yes, this is Women in the Arena podcast, but we want everybody to join us because burnout is not mutually exclusive to women. We want everybody to join. So that means men, women, everyone involved. Please join us. But on this hike, can you do it together?
In spirit, yes, but the goal is to do it alone with your thoughts. But we'll be hiking, I think collectively, our goal, Audra, right, is we're trying to start one of the largest movements of the Hike 31 Challenge to date. This will be the largest movement of people practicing collectively together, but alone.
So keep in mind that Women in the Arena podcast is heard around the world in 85 countries. So if we can get people to participate in half those countries, this will be the largest to date. So to get more information, I'm going to help you out. So if you text this number, 33777, text the word hike, we have some aids for you. So Jessica, will you tell us a little bit about what they're going to get when they text this number?
So when you text hike to 33777, you will get the Hike 31 one-pager on how to practice. Now, to understand a deeper dive into the science behind why it works and how it was developed, you'll have to listen to the podcast for the full details. But this will give you a great jump start into what you are embarking on the challenge.
And for those that have not subscribed to the podcast, you can subscribe on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. That's where we're at. And the podcast drops on September 27th at 9 a.m. Pacific. So make sure you go listen. And lastly, the challenge starts on October 1st, goes all the way through the month of October. You will find all the instructions on how to do this challenge. We will be with you in spirit. And every Friday, starting next Friday, we will have a live, and Jessica and I will tell you how the challenge is going. And yes, it will be a challenge. I will explain on the podcast what I'm dreading, because I have angst. I definitely have angst. And I'm sure as soon as you guys hear the podcast, you will too. But no, I'm going to do this with you. And because I'm looking forward to the benefits that I fully anticipate that I'm going to experience. And Jessica's going to go through those because there is science behind this. And if nothing else, I'm definitely going to get some peace and quiet. Just being out in nature and clearing my head for just a little bit. And lastly, you want to know a little bit more about Jessica, you can go and check her out on her website. Did we forget anything, Jessica?
I don't think so. I think it's just exciting that we'll have hopefully people practicing. So far, the furthest that the Hike 31 Challenge has gone is Japan. And so I'm super excited to see what other countries that we can hit with this October challenge. But just know that we're going to be with you, as Audra mentioned, every step of the way, and more details on that in the podcast.
And we will give you more information as soon as you hear. We'll give you information as to how to report to us where you're hiking from and how you're doing. So please listen, check us out. We can't wait to hear how you're doing. We're rooting for you. We're hiking with you. And we just hope that you join us, and we can't wait to hear how you experience this. So thanks so much for joining us, Jessica. Anything else you want to say before we let them go?
I think last thing is I am going to announce that I'm going to challenge myself in a very unique way in October. It does involve hiking, but more on that on our very first live, which will be, I think, Friday, October 4th, maybe in the morning.
Yeah, I think it's the 4th. It'll be the 4th, somewhere
Yeah.
around that.
So just like we're asking the entire audience to challenge themselves, since I am an avid practicer and creator of the Hike 31 Challenge, I threw a little extra secret sauce in there just for me. And I'm a bit nervous, just like you are. I want to put myself in the same shoes as the audience and you, Audra. So I picked a couple of very challenging hikes in the Boise area, and I will be embarking on them throughout the month of October. And I will report back to everyone.
I can't wait. So everyone, please join us. What's the worst that can happen? You can go get some mental peace and clarity for a little bit. So come join us. Come hang out with us. Come listen to the podcast. And we'll hang out with you soon. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, everyone.